there is no consequence to going against the speaker. They hold the power. They had it then. They have it now. They have it with these powerful committees. And so clearly there's not going to be a rebuke from within their own party's leadership if they were to step out of line again with anti-Semitic, racist, or violent remarks that were the things that got them kicked off when Democrats had control of this chamber.
The same members who caused the speaker's vote to take 5 days and 15 ballots and a whole lot of humiliation have been assigned to super powerful committees. Matt Gaetz and Andy Biggs on Judiciary, Lauren Boebert and Paul Gosar on Oversight, and many, many others. So let's get right to it with retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath. She also ran for Senate in Kentucky against Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. And my friend Michael Steele, a former chairman of the Republican National Committee and former lieutenant governor of Maryland. Amy, I turn to you first. These committee assignments, what are we really in for? I mean, it was a week and a half ago. Lauren Boebert was on this show with me saying she couldn't trust Kevin McCarthy. He wasn't a man of his word. And he just hooked that sister up.
Well, you know, and I know we're talking politics here, but I really want to bring it just quickly to national security. I mean, when you have Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Homeland Security Committee, really it's a slap in the face to everybody that wears the uniform that, you know, swears to protect our country. I mean, this is somebody who is a known insurrectionist who said that if January 6th, if she were in charge, they would have succeeded. This is somebody who regularly amplifies Vladimir Putin and Russian propaganda in Ukraine, who encourages violence against her fellow members of Congress, against Democrats, her fellow Americans, to be on the Homeland Security Committee. You know, I mean, when Michael Steele, who's with you tonight, was in charge of the Republican Party, when I was in the military, the Republican Party was considered the party of national security, the serious party of national security. These positions would be filled with people who had military experience or intelligence experience. And look who we have on these committees now. I mean, it's really an outrage and a disservice to our country.
Michael, when you were in charge of the party, there were Republican members of Congress that are still Republican members of Congress today, many of whom were standing side by side with Kevin McCarthy from vote 1 to vote 15. Mm-hmm. Do they now have egg on their face, and how are they feeling?
Well, you know, I think they got their guy in. They're not happy about the price that they paid to get him the seat. They're not happy about the price they continue to have to pay. And this is where it all comes home. You know, on these committees, what happens when, you know, egregious actions are proposed or legislation is proposed that puts the House and certainly McCarthy's leadership into question on issues like national security, on issues like the economy. How does Kevin deal with that? And who does he turn to? Who does he turn to in that group of 200? Does Steve Scalise assume a greater role to sort of clean up the mess, which likely is going to happen? I mean, look, in 2 years, we'll get to do this all again. There's no guarantee that Kevin's going to hold the seat. So there's a lot at stake for him to sort of front load as much of this as possible, appease these folks, keep the level of noise down to a minimum, and try to get through the next 18 months and have a presidential nominee who will likely become the center of focus and take a little bit of heat off of him.
Yeah, but is Kevin McCarthy still their guy? They got their guy the gavel, and what did he do? Hook up the other guys.
Well, that's Kevin. So, you know.
Well, that's Kevin. That's just how it works.
That's how it works. I mean, what else are they going to do? They couldn't move. They had 200 votes. They couldn't go anywhere. 202 votes. What are they going to do? And they couldn't figure out the strategy to get it done. Right? They couldn't figure out who they need.
Do you think there are any Republicans in Congress who, they might not say it publicly, but Amy, they're uncomfortable with the likes of Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene on these really important committees?
I know there are. I know there are Republicans in Congress that are super uncomfortable with it. They're just powerless to do anything about it. And the leadership of the Republican Party is, they're not a serious party anymore. They're not a serious governing party. And because they're spineless, and they're held hostage by these far right extremists who now have enormous power. And we all talk about the politics, and that's important. I'm just really concerned about the national security implications of all these extremists in these positions. It's frightening.
The power is what matters, right? Before last week, we almost never even uttered Marjorie Taylor Greene's name on this show because she had no committee assignments. But now she is in power, and I want to share what she had to say about the debt limit.
The debt ceiling is going to be a point of contention in our conference, but it's going to have to be one that we come together on. We aren't going to send something to the Senate to make it to Joe Biden's desk to be signed, and we want to make sure that we have things in there that we have to have. I, for one, will not sign a clean bill raising the debt limit.
Well, here's a problem, Michael. Members of Congress don't actually sign bills.
She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. This woman has no
Isn't
clue.
that scary?
Can we just for a moment stop taking this stuff seriously? Because they don't. They put her on television. She runs her mouth, and everybody acts like, "Oh my God, what do we do now?" What do you think you're going to do?
This goes to Amy's point. We have to take it seriously. We didn't 3 weeks ago because she was just a conspiracy theorist who would say or do anything to get attention. But now she actually is in a position of power. So we have to pay attention to the ludicrous things and the falsehoods that she says, because she could impact things like our national security. We can't just laugh at her like a buffoon.
Agreed. Totally agreed. But you know what? That's Kevin's problem. That's Kevin's problem. And so Kevin needs to work that out. We can't work that out. Mitch McConnell can't solve that. That's Kevin's problem. That's a problem he's created. So she's not going to sign off on a clean debt bill. Then what are you going to sign off of? Because if you understand how this works, Marjorie, then you know that this is about bills that have already been created, not new spending. So this is not a spending question. This is just paying the damn credit card of the country for the $8 trillion your president ran up in between 2016 and 2020. So stop with the stupid. This is Kevin's problem. He's got to figure it out.
It sure is. No doubt there are big, big corporate donors ringing him all day, every day, and tomorrow saying, get your house in order or we're going to stop with the checks. Amy McGrath, Michael Steele, great to see you both.